Hey everyone, it's Wasabi. So if you've searched for the Pulsar FS-1 versus the Zowie FK2-DW and you're deciding between the two, then this video is for you. And you're right to search that because these two mice are extremely similar in shape. They both basically have the FK DNA, a low profile, low fronts, rear taper, and the whole idea is pretty much the same. But one is a modern evolution of that concept and the other is a classic. So the question is, which one of these actually makes more sense today? So let's take a look. Alright, so first I guess we can look at the shape and handling because that is the real daily difference you would experience. Shape-wise, they are very close. Both have a low hump and are very flat through the middle. Also for mice like these, it's more finger control than palm support. And by the way, how they handle in the hand is a little different. The FS-1 feels a bit more forgiving. It's slightly shorter and narrower and a touch taller by about 1mm, which does make it feel slightly easier to settle into if you're new to this style of mice. Also, you will notice that the FK2 is a little more pinched down the middle. Now, if you have tried the FK shape before and felt like it was a little too specific for the aggressive claw or even the fingertip grip style, or perhaps a little too restrictive when transitioning into a fingertip grip during fast gameplay, the FS-1 feels easier to work with. I would say that the FK2-DW feels more deliberate and more specific, so definitely if you're someone who just wants to buy the mouse and get used to it quickly, the shape of the FS-1 just feels like the easier option. Alright, so the clicks, the side buttons, and the scroll wheel. So for the FK2-DW, it has Huano transparent blue shell pink dot mechanical switches. The clicks are firmer in comparison and feel more deliberate to press. You really have to commit to this button. Its stiffness has been something that a lot of people have highlighted since its release. Whereas in comparison, the FS-1 Pulsar optical switches feel a lot lighter. It's a lot easier to spam as well, and it still retains a good amount of tactility. For the side buttons, both are very solid. I got no complaints here. They both require a moderate amount of pressure to actuate, and they are both very well fitted in. Now for the scroll wheel, this is where the FS-1 really sucks. It's not the encoder, it is the wheel design. It's aluminum and over time it gets very slippery. If scroll wheel control matters to you, you know, weapon switching, jump binds, or even tactile feedback, the FK2-DW is the much safer choice, even though the Zowie scroll wheel sounds like crap. Now about the tech, I'm not gonna read every single word, but feel free to pause or screenshot it if you need it for your reference. I kept this one very basic, but the big takeaways are the polling rate. The FS-1 can do up to 8K wireless and wired, whereas the FK2-DW is up to 4K wireless and only 1K wired. So if you care about having high polling rates even in wired mode, then the point goes to the FS-1. For the battery life, the FS-1 is rated up to 160 hours at 1000 Hz, while the FK2-DW is rated up to 80 hours at 1000 Hz, so that is almost double. Just keep in mind that these are the values that I could find online. In actual practice, both last super long and I never had trouble with the battery life. But if you hate charging your mouse, then the FS-1 is surely the better option. The FK2-DW though has a charging dock, so charging the mouse is very convenient. It may sound like a small thing, but really on your setup, it is super nice to have. Also, I gotta mention that Zowie now has a high performance mode. It's a new update that you can get from their website, and that brings the click latency down to under a millisecond. And with that, people cannot say that Zowie mice are slow anymore. The next big takeaway is the software. The FS-1 uses Bibimbap web-based software, and that lets you customize the DPI values, select your polling rate, angle rotation, macros. You can remap keys as well. There is a lot more flexibility to customize with the FS-1. The FK2-DW on the other hand is driverless, so you got fixed DPI levels, and you can toggle on and off a few other settings with a combination of buttons. Some people enjoy that simplicity while others will find it limiting. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so to summarize, the easiest mouse to get onto if you're new to the FK shape would be the FS-1. When it comes to the weight and fatigue, the FS-1 is the winner as well, because this is a case of 58 grams versus 65 grams, and for a low profile shape in particular, it is the lighter weight that helps, especially in games when you are rapidly moving the mouse. Because for these shapes in particular, you are relying a lot on your fingers to maneuver the mouse compared to your palm. And for tech flexibility, the FS-1 is the winner too. This mouse has 8K wired and wireless, you got a web-based software, you can customize the DPI to whatever value you want, and you also got angle rotation. So with all these features, it just comes off as a more modern and adjustable option. Also, the battery life of the FS-1 is 160 hours compared to the FK2-DW's 80 hours at 1K. So on paper, that is a big difference. Now, where does the FK2-DW win in this video? Well, I gotta say that it is the coating and the finish. For me, the coating feels a lot grippier and more locked in under pressure during gameplay. So even though the coating on the FS-1 is pretty okay, specifically for a gaming mouse, I enjoy the coating of the Zowies a lot more. And then there is a scroll wheel. If scroll wheel grip matters to you, the FK2-DW is the safer choice. It is also a lot more tactile compared to the FS-1. And the last thing is the clicks. The FK2-DW is firmer and more deliberate, while the FS-1 is lighter in comparison and a lot easier to spam. Also, the click experience of the FS-1 is really good for an optical switch. Between the two of these mice, it's a lot easier to game with the clicks of the FS-1 than the FK2-DW. So as you can probably tell, it's a choice between modern flexibility and convenience or a classic option. And by the way, the FK2-DW has been out since 2024, so do keep a lookout at what Zowie comes up with this year. I think it would be very nice to see some mice from them that is more relevant to today's trends and expectations. Alright, so for my pick, if I could only keep one, I'm keeping the FS-1. Though as a reviewer, it's an absolute must to keep all my Zowie mice because their shapes, even today, are what most new mice take inspiration from. But yeah, my pick would be the FS-1. But it's not because the FK2-DW is bad. If I had to main the FK2, I'm alright. It is a very good mouse. But it's just that the FS-1 in 2026, the lighter weight brings out more from the FK shape. You got the flexibility of web-based software configuration, and especially the battery life that makes it a lot easier to live with day to day for those people who do not want to charge so often. And it is these little things that make the FS-1 a lot more compelling than the FK2 in 2026. And that's pretty much it. So thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this video or at least found it a little helpful. And of course, please leave a like and subscribe to support my channel. It really does help a lot. And I guess I'll see you in the next one.